What is up? Manager in the Mirror, installment 4. We are here with our other expansion team, Patrick Moormile, who is well, I'll just come out and say it. This jersey was no accident. We're celebrating Patrick and his multi-year endeavor of building one out of the dust. Patrick, I think your rebuild is officially done.
Oh, wow. No, don't put those expectations on me. Come on.
I don't know, man. I'm just calling it like I see it, and I mean it in the best way possible. So, welcome to the show. You're our manager in the mirror today.
Thank you very
Anything to get
much.
off your chest before we get started?
Um, I don't know. When I was listening to some of these other episodes, and you said like the team names, I don't know what my plan is with Morgan Trail because it honors like the first guy that I fell like in love with following the process. Um, like him as a player, not as a person. I'm not really into that kind of thing. Um, but yeah, I I don't know. Morgan Trail is like a microcosm of what I need to get better at as a manager because I've been able to get picks and get value, but I haven't made the most of some picks. So I don't know. We'll get into it.
Preaching to the choir here on that one, but I mean, I'm drafting better as of late, at least. I wish you the same luck.
So that is
Um,
Elijah Moore, not DJ Moore. Getting the love.
EJ Moore, EJ Manuel.
DJ Moore.
DJ Moore.
Oh,
I wasn't sure if the torch had been passed. I don't know if DJ had taken the throne.
I don't know. I think I think Ayuk might be my favorite receiver slash player on my team. I think you look at most of the receivers on my team, and it's a lot of young guys who haven't, besides T. Higgins, who haven't had optimal quarterback situations. And um, I mean, yeah, Ayuk's brother or friend was complaining on Instagram the other day about how he's 3 catches in the Super Bowl for an All Pro. Like, what the heck's going on? But I don't know how that situation is going to get resolved. Purdy would more than keep him afloat, but there are better options out there. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the next couple of years how quarterback and wide receiver combos kind of reshuffle.
as a for his entire career, Terry McLaurin owner. Again, you're preaching to the choir on this one. But yeah, we'll see. We'll hop right into it. Just a quick recap of Pat's 2022 and then 3. 2022, he went 3-12, 250 less points for than any non-expansion team, but he did finish with more than Nico and got second place or the second pick, 9th place that year. And in 2023, he did some shuffling before the draft. We talked about the ETN and Gibbs trade last episode. It was the pick that became Gibbs for ETN, Khalil Herbert, and the picks that became Quentin Johnston and Roshan. In the draft, he added Zay Flowers at the 4, hometown guy. QJ with my pick, 105. Dalton Kincaid at the 8. Kendre Miller at the 10. And in the second, he got Roshan, Tank Bigsby, Marvin Mims, and finished it out with Josh Downs in the third for players that I felt needed to be written down, although I'm sure there were other picks. Yeah, I talked about that one. During the season, he traded for Ayuk and Rob's 24 and 25 thirds and sent Njoku, Josh Downs, Jacoby Myers, and his own 25 second. Then he, in the famous 3-team trade that we've talked a bunch about by now, on his side of things, he sent ETN and Tom's 24 second for Achan and Jesse's 26 second. And then he finished the year 5-10, 7th in points for, broke that expansion team barrier, and won in the toilet bowl. And then he was the playoff challenge champion. Can't leave that one out. Attaboy Pat. What are we
Yeah,
doing
that
with all the
was,
money?
I don't know, that was just I was trying to get value with each pick. I feel like anyone could have won that, but I was lucky enough to get that W. I will say If I hadn't made that trade with you, I don't know. I don't think I could have passed on Zay, but I did have, embarrassingly enough, I had Quentin Johnston as my wide receiver too. I had, um, yeah,
behind Jay, right?
Smith and Jigbolt as my wide receiver one, and then Gibbs and Bijan were also top three. And that trade enabled me to know that I could get QJ and Zay. So yeah. But yeah, I think it's gonna be hard now because I feel like when you have a bunch of young guys, you can't really like there's no Devonte Adams or Josh Jacobs on Zach's team where you can liquidate those guys immediately. Like I'd really have to be patient now, so it's going to be playing a completely different game. But yeah, I'm excited for a chance to start winning. But was there anything specifically you guys wanted me to address in those moves or oh
We are
the
still missing one more move or a couple more moves, I guess. I'm not sure, but that doesn't count the recent tight end swap.
Sure. That
Ooh.
this recap is old.
A
That's a
pretty
good point.
significant move. I've got it up here. Uh Pat, you gave TJ Hawkinson and then a slew of picks, 3/3 in a second. And you got, yes, you got back Pitts in 2 seconds. So fundamentally, there's the whole pick exchange, but really Pitts for Hawkinson was the key to the swap.
Yeah. So outside of the tight ends, Nico got better. Yeah, he got better value in that deal. He moved up.
I didn't
And
think it was that much though. I'll
yeah,
be
it was close, but outside looking in, Hawkinson is slightly above Pitts on pretty much every ranking. And um in the next 2 years, he's either going to fall down to like tight end 9, tight end 10 territory in Dynasty, or he has it in his range of outcomes to get to that top 3 or 4, 2 or 3, maybe in the ideal quarterback situation, tight end. And Hawkinson, I felt like it is somewhat impatience because after this upcoming year, he'll be the next year he'll be 28 and then he'll have at least 3 or 4 more seasons of being very reliable. Um, but I feel like he doesn't have a chance to challenge Laporta for value and Pitts. That's somewhat possible. Um, Jaden Daniels, Drake May, or Justin Fields could be the quarterback for the Falcons. And those players, as it stands, wouldn't make him that guy right away, but they could build something. So, yeah, you've had Desmond Ritter and Taylor Heineke, so he really hasn't had a too much of a chance. And then yeah, getting back to the Achan ETN Puka trade, um I think it made sense for all teams. I think Nico getting Puka, I probably won the deal because it's Puka. I can't be in the market for receivers right now, and um, I needed like I needed a lightning bolt, and ETN's more of a sure thing, but I preferred Achan for my team makeup.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it before, but I think what everyone was getting all made sense for what they were doing. Um, Crazy trade. So we do have some questions for you. Q&A with the manager in the mirror, as we are going to in every episode if people finally start hitting us up to hop on. Just starting everything off, we got the super flex draft coming up. We got other talks. I personally am pushing for tight end premium and the 5-team playoff. I'm just wondering how you think this offseason is going to go, what you want the league to steer towards.
Yeah, I don't have a strong feeling on tight end premium. I think just from experience, like the first couple of years of dynasty experience, I naturally, I think a bunch of us learned along the way that Superflex is the way to go. Just because, especially in a 10-team league, quarterback position just cancels each other out.
Yeah.
And now there's going to be more room to separate. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm open to tight end premium. Just I'm always there in the chat, ready to hash it out. So we can
Ready
we
to
can have
send the
that
poll.
discussion.
All right. And then I was just wondering if you have a strategy you care to share for this quarterback draft. I don't know if you're in my boat where you're trying to get two guys that can be, you know, playoff championship pieces right away. If you're looking at projects, what you're thinking.
Yeah. Mostly when people have like these dynasty discussions, it's not with their fellow league members. So we're in a little bit of a pickle. But the priority here is to entertain the people.
Sure.
Um,
Our 5 viewers.
yeah, I mean, we were talking about it a little bit before we got on, but Jalen Hurts is uh not someone that I want to say no to at my pick, and I don't want him to be available to me. So I just want to whoever's ahead of me, Luke Witt, Zach, Nico, someone just and Ryan. Ryan and I will probably be somewhere near each other. I think Richardson and Fields and uh, Burrow are roughly equal in one quarterback, so that could go either way. Um, but some people might disagree, but I don't know. I like those uh those Konami code quarterbacks. Burrow doesn't offer that. He's got all the off the field shine and glamour, and that's what Nico's about. He doesn't like the hardworking, bring your lunch pail, Anthony Richardson, Justin Fields type.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you have to, whoever has to deal with Arthur Smith, where did Arthur Smith go? I just want to stay away.
Steelers.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You're
I
not
just
taking
want to.
Kenny Pickett at the 6th pick or whatever you have.
No, a term that I've been thrown around a lot recently is Muppet, and Arthur Smith is the embodiment of a Muppet. So
Sure.
I don't want anything to do with that Steelers quarterback room. Yeah, Arthur Smith, he might be a good guy, and if you see this one day, Arthur, I'm sorry, but yeah, you just give off Muppet vibes. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a lot of the dynasty platforms out there will say, yeah, when you're in drafts, you should tier down, just maximize the value. I think in this quarterback draft, it really depends on the context of who you're swapping between because uh, someone else's tiers might not be equal to your tiers. So, like the Hertz thing, I don't want to have to deal with that decision. So, um, yeah, depending on what's available, I will be open to moving back because I won't have one quarterback. I'll probably be ahead of you, but it's possible that some people like Richardson Fields over Burrow, but
Purdy.
Purdy, Watson, we could go on.
They could go on.
Eh, yeah, I don't like. I mean, I signed up to just talk about myself and my team, but you guys are real troopers to just watch other people talk about their teams for so long.
I mean, it's been over this at this point now. Half of the episodes are us talking about our teams with yours coming out, so
Yeah,
can't really talk.
I mean that's what people are looking for on YouTube. They're like, where can I find people talking about their dynasty teams? That's what I'm interested in.
Exactly.
Yes, yes. All right. Well, so we kind of covered it. The backbone of your team moving forward is looking like that wide receiver room. A deep group of young guys. But it's been a rocky start to the offseason for that group. Zay Flowers and Brandon Ayuk, both with some negative headlines to start things. And it's looking like T. Higgins is going to be tagged. His future definitely questionable. So is there any concern there?
There is no concern with Ayuk or DJ Moore. Yeah, they're gonna be here with the team for the long haul. Um, yeah, with Zay, the priority is protecting the women in this situation. But yeah, hopefully at the end of this, his nickname is Due Process. But yeah, I think Drake London, I know you're probably gonna get to this question later, but when you're talking about a guy who has a chance to break out with a quarterback, London and Pitts are hinging on these next couple months because it's how can the Falcons front office put that receiving group in a worse situation than what they've experienced? And I mean, it really has a lot of room to get better. So, but yeah, T. Higgins and his situation, it looks like he'll be with the Bengals and then won't be with them. After that, he's going to get money, could get money for an awful situation, could get money for a good situation. We'll see. But I have enough receivers where T, I'll be flexible with trading. I believe in T. I believe in him long term and his talent, but I would like more DJ Moore, Ayuk, Zay, and Drake London. I would keep over T. Like T's the if I'm gonna have to move a player and like have flexibility to strengthen running back or quarterback when we're in super flex, it would be T that I'd be trying to move.
Just want to point out, just so you can tell your kids where you were one day when Caitlin Clark broke the NCAA women's college basketball scoring record. It's right here.
I
Right.
was literally about to say the same thing. Yeah, I've been checking my phone. I just didn't want to I didn't want to be disrespectful, but I was like, I don't know if I want to accept this Zoom call. Like, I kind of just want to watch Caitlin Clark, but I don't know. You guys bullied me into it, so didn't
Yeah.
really have a choice.
Who
Sorry, you
thought
missed
this would be
history.
such a pro women podcast? I got, like you said, that's what people expect when they're sifting through YouTube trying to find people talking about their dynasty leagues.
Women.
Um, so you talked about DJ Moore. He's around for a while. You also have most of the Chicago backfield, and that's another QB room that's very up in the air. So you talked a bit about Atlanta, your Falcons, and what you want for those guys. What would you like to see happen in Chicago?
Yeah, I'd be shocked if Caleb Williams isn't the quarterback. I think they're gonna throw smoke screens wherever about moving back with the Commanders. Um, but I think it's gonna be all about leveraging value for Fields. Um, yeah, as a front office, they had to have made a decision like we still think Fields could be an awesome quarterback, but they had to have committed to Caleb by now. They committed either way, and they're trying to leverage is what I think is going on. But if I had to guess, I'd say they're just trying to get the most they can for Fields. Yeah, this is probably going to hurt Khalil Herbert's trade value, but the issue with him coming into the league was pass protection, and he hasn't improved with that. So I think Roshan has a path to become a workhorse next year because that's not an issue for him. He doesn't have the burst or long speed of someone who can be like a top five transcendent dynasty running back, but he's going to get a bunch of volume. And yeah, that offense definitely can grow if they could get I don't know if Mooney's in their long-term plans, but I think they can get Caleb at 1, and then they have the 9th overall pick that they could potentially move up to get Marvin or sit at 9, get Romo Dunze, or their wide receiver class is crazy deep, so they could grab someone in the second or third probably. But
So you're hoping for Caleb?
yeah. Yeah, I don't have I usually with like quarterback evaluations, I don't let my own opinions come into the fold much. I just try and listen. I gather as many opinions as I can from people who do this for a living and then base it off that. I don't know enough about X's and O's. I've definitely improved with my knowledge over the past couple of years, but I don't value my own opinion at all when it comes to evaluating quarterbacks.
Fair enough. Was that it for you, Dan? Oh,
Yes, it is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have the 3 pick this year as of right now, at least. Me personally, I think that honestly, probably no matter the situation, the 1 and 2 should be Caleb and Marv. Is there someone you want to see end up somewhere that isn't one of those two that you would love to take at the 3?
Yeah, I think I mean for myself and also for the future guests that come on this show, talking about our rookie draft before so much is going to change over the next couple of months doesn't really hurt us. So bouncing ideas off each other and then getting into like being secretive and stuff later on is the way that I'm going to go. So at 3 right now, a major concern with, or the main concern with Jaden Daniels is that he takes huge hits. Like he's electric on his feet, but he doesn't put himself in the best situation. So, and he's 6 foot 185. So like the sturdiness of his frame isn't there compared to Drake May, who's 6'4", 220. And like I I don't want to compare him to Josh Allen, but no, I'm not. But no, yeah. Arm talent with Drake May is awesome. He had Josh Downs to work with earlier at North Carolina, and then he had Devontae Walker this year, so he's had some NFL talent to work with. But he's ACC defenses um aren't up to SEC or Big Ten level, but they are arguably better than Pac-12 when you look at what Caleb's going against besides the top end of the Pac-12. So yeah, I'm leaning Drake May right now. But the past week I've been trying to figure out how I can get I don't know. Malik Neighbors is in play. He's he's incredible, and the prospect fatigue on Marvin Harrison might not validate making him wide receiver 1 in this class, but um I don't I'm not going to try and force moving T, but if there's the right trade that comes up where I could move T for plus for a veteran quarterback in the super flex, and then that opens the door for taking Neighbors. So that's the downside of me taking so many receivers recently, is that I have less flexibility in this situation.
There
Yeah,
are still plenty of directions you could move. Yeah.
I know I've personally rung the line about 1-3. Doesn't sound like you're too interested in moving off of it.
Wait,
God, I
and
tell you one
you've been
Yeah,
talking about. Go ahead.
No,
yeah. I don't. I mean, Kincaid isn't as valuable as 1-3. It doesn't really appeal to me to trade either of them. So
Fair enough.
sorry, Dan. I love to see you smile, but I got nothing to say that'll make you smile. So
no, that's kind of what I would have figured.
I
Kincaid, I'm
mean,
surprised you're not open to moving Kincaid after the Pitts move.
oh no, Pitts. I got Pitts to pair with Kincaid for the long run. DJ Moore, Ayuk, Kincaid, Pitts
that's
for
the
the long
core.
haul.
I guess that lends itself to my next question. Who do you think's taken the biggest jump this year on Mooregon Trail?
Yeah, it's if the Falcons get one of those guys I named, then I think it'll be London or Pitts. Um, if not, then Roshan.
Fair enough. As a Justin Fields believer, I honestly would love to see the Bears hang on to him, but the Falcons would be my second choice, and I could see that being absolutely electric.
And I will say I'm still learning as a manager to value, like I've prioritized youth over valuable fantasy football assets a little too much. So I'm still learning that balance. But Kendre is still a mystery box. Marvin Mims is a mystery box. And Pitts, I think, is still a mystery box. Johnston, Elijah Moore are trending down. So I'm hoping for the best. And then Bateman, he's getting an extra year off of the Liz Frank injury, so I'm still optimistic on his future.
Got it. So I'm just curious. Obviously, after this draft, you're getting a quarterback or a receiver at the 3. We're going to look different with the super flex at the end of that. It looks like you're looking at the running back of the future at 208. I'm just wondering what success looks like this year for your team.
Oh, yeah, no rush. Um, it's yeah, seeing I think DJ Moore is 25 or 26, and then Ayuk's 25. So ideally, you want to compete as early as you can with those guys. Um, but yeah, no rush. There's a lot of young pieces. Not as much pick flexibility as I had a bunch of picks last year, and now it's one for each first. So yeah, we'll be seeing it as we go. I think there's a lot of players on the bench too that can rise in value that I'd be able to package with picks for more flexibility or um or maybe they're there for the long haul. Roshan, I'm not really interested in moving, but Tank, it was yeah, you didn't even ask about Tank, but I just have to talk about Tank.
Talk about Tank.
The Auburn O line being piss poor was like the main thing I kept going back to. Like, imagine him in like Alabama scheme, like what he could have done. But very disappointing rookie season. So ETN, he should be fine. He should be fine. But yeah, no rush for this team. I think there's a lot of contenders. So I hopefully make the playoffs, but I have my own pick. What I don't even know whose pick I have. I think I have my own pick. And yes, I have my own pick. So if I no, I don't want a bunch of injuries. But if I lose a bunch of close games, that's ideal.
Yeah. All right. So we're not really pushing for the playoffs quite yet.
It yeah, it just depends on the first 6 weeks.
Doesn't it always? All right. And then I just have to know before we wrap things up, who do you have taking it this year? Who's going to be the bottom?
Yeah, I've had really quick, succinct answers for you guys, so I'm gonna elongate this one. Um, so my champ favorite, I think it's either Dan or Nico would be my favorite. Especially because we're moving to super flex. Uh, there's a couple teams that are at the top. Brennan's one of them who lack depth, and I prefer Dan's to Brennan's team just because I think Jetta's CD, Chase, and Allen can win you any week.
Allen's not definitely on the roster next year, but yeah, go on.
Yeah, it's true. Sorry, Dan. I wanted to see you smile.
I just had to
Um,
throw that in
Keeps
his
me up at
face.
night. Keeps me up at night.
and then Nico's young, but he's got crazy star power. It's scary. And then I think Rob and Brennan are lurking right there. And then there's a couple more teams that are contenders even below them. But I think it's Dan, Nico, Rob, Brennan, and then a couple others. And then at the bottom, I have Luke Witt. Um, yeah, just not enough top tier talent in my opinion. Besides Cup, I don't know how much he can really liquidate this team. Um, but yeah, he's gonna right the ship. He's figuring it out. There's a bunch of guys who could be solid, and he'll get his studs soon enough.
It'll come eventually, just without the first. I see what you're saying. It's hard to see a quicker turnaround.
Tough spot to be in.
All right. Well, that about does us for the Q&A. Anything you want to say before we sign off here?
No, I'm done talking. I'm just gonna duct tape my mouth shut for the rest of the day.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on. This has been another great episode of Manager in the Mirror. Anything you got to say, Ryan, for the league before we head out of here?
Not a whole lot. Just hit us up. We got Dan dropping before this, and you're watching the Pat episode when it's out. And we got one more mystery guest for episode 5 lined up, but that still leaves half the league to get on here and talk. So if you're not our mystery 5th guest, get bang our lines. We want you on, or Pat can vouch. I'll be harassing you.
Yes, I can vouch. before, yeah, I obviously have something else to say. Next year, because we have so many people who view this show and are interested in, what we're able to contribute to the world. Slocum's live show, Manager in the Mirror at Slocum's. You bowl, you answer a question, you get a strike, you drink some Rolling Rocks, $2.50.
Wow.
Hey,
Love
free
working with
advertising for
you.
Slocum's. We should get paid by Slocum's for that ad.
I'll give him a ring. All right. Well, it was a pleasure, Pat. Best of luck this year. We'll see you when the league convenes for the Superflex draft. Um, thanks for watching, everybody.
And
Thank you for tuning in.
Zach's not going to listen to this, but Zach, you really got to trade away Devontae and Josh Jacobs. I know you're not going to listen, but what are you doing? You got to get active on that.
There you go. Some wise words to end the episode. We'll be seeing y'all soon.